Okay, so good late night, relatively late night. I usually do not post videos this late, and I usually would get the injury report up a lot earlier than this. But when it didn't get posted around the usual time, I thought that maybe it just wasn't going to get posted because there was really nothing to say. So I went to go eat dinner and I watched Die Hard, and I kind of just didn't even look. And when I got back, as it turns out, something did get posted on both sides. So I'm way late. Like closing in on 5 hours late. Usually this gets posted much earlier, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and just go over it now for fun. I understand that pretty much everybody already knows what this is, and pretty much everybody kind of understands what the Seahawks are looking at going into this game. But it's worth a look because there is at least one significant high profile player that looks like will not make himself available for this game. So Greg Bell has the latest from the Seahawks side. Remember, this is a walkthrough, and apparently it was an ultra light walkthrough. So even a light walkthrough by walkthrough standards. So we're just kind of estimating here in many ways, but there are two guys who were projected to have not been able to participate: Brady Russell and Ken Walker. So that's the one that really matters right now. And that at this point, I think we can kind of conclude is the only player of real significance that will miss this game. Now, there are other players who are hurt. Geno Smith gave a press conference earlier today where he said, like, hey, my knee is not going to be okay until after the season's done and I get a chance to work on it in the off season. He said that it's something he's just going to have to play through. So he's got to deal with that. Leonard Williams has his foot injury. He's got to deal with that. Abe Lucas has his knee. He's got to deal with that. So there is stuff going on, but I think it's fairly safe to say they're all going to play. And Ken Walker, I think is safe to say, will not play this week for the against the Bears. And that's something that we can survive. We don't run the ball anyway. And honestly, Zach Charbonnet is probably better for us because he's a better pass protector and he's better in general on passing downs. So I can't even say that Ken Walker's a big loss at this point. I mean, you'd rather have him than Kenny McIntosh, I guess, but the way we play football, it's almost like the running back could be Travis Homer and DJ Dallas, and it would not really matter at all. And I wish that this team would change the way they play, but we are in week 17. So I don't have any optimism for that. Three players listed as limited, and they were all guys that got rest days yesterday, so there's not really a lot to say other than that. You know, you got Abe Lucas with the knee, still working his way back. Leonard Williams, a veteran player, working through the foot injury, doesn't really need to practice that much anyway. It's all just a projection anyway, whatever. And Ernest Jones. We know he's been dealing with a knee injury for a while now. So, okay, pretty good. Full participation, projection. The important one here, because it looks like we won't have Ken Walker, would be Charbonnet. We really need Charbonnet now. He's capable as a pass protector most of the time, and his abilities to contribute on passing downs, that's valuable right now. Noah Fant, full participant, projected out, so should be good. I mean, we probably only have a couple more games of Noah Fant before he's off this team. I don't think he's going to be here next year, so while he's here, we get what we can out of him, and we try to use him to the best of our abilities. Oluwatimi, full participation with the knee, so he's, I mean, again, you're not going to be 100% that soon after an injury, but he's coming back. Derek Hall with the shoulder injury, full participant, and Uchenna Nwosu, full participant with the wrist. So the interesting stuff there, of course, would just be the fact that pretty much everybody in limited bumped over to full. The exception being Kayvon Wallace, who remains a full participant in the projection. And at this point, I don't know why you would I don't know why he would still be unable to play. I assume he's just not getting activated because we don't have room for him and we don't have a need for him. So that is about it. I haven't heard anything about George Fant yet. I don't know if anyone is even thinking about George Fant anymore, but his opportunity to come off the IR should be coming up pretty soon here. It may already be here. Now, at this point, what does it really matter? Even if he did get activated, he wouldn't play in all likelihood. So it is kind of a non-issue, but I haven't heard anything about Fant coming back. And I think we already know that guys like we put a cornerback on IR a couple weeks ago, and he's not going to be back in time for the season. He's out unless we make a playoff run or something. So that's really about it on the Seahawks side of things. The big headline here, and again, I think it's muted by the circumstance. Ken Walker probably not playing. Bears injury report over here. It was very similar to yesterday. Elijah Hicks out in theory, right? Travis Homer out in theory. Tevin Jenkins remains out, so that's starting to get a little bit. It's starting to look like he's just not going to be able to play, and that's the one of real significance. Tevin Jenkins. It's not a good offensive line in Chicago. It's not. But Tevin Jenkins, he's better than the guy behind him. Marcedes Lewis got a rest day. I think every day should be a rest day for Marcedes Lewis, as in it's really beyond time for him to retire. He deserves it. So not an injury situation there. Tarvaris Moore remains a DNP. So these players, outside of Marcedes Lewis, at real risk of missing the game at this point. If you're not practicing by Tuesday, or the 2 days before a game, remember, this is basically Friday. Bad news. Bad news. Gervon Dexter remains limited. Doug Kramer Jr. remains limited. And the only player who went the right way this week for the Bears, or today, rather, is Ogbong Bimiga. So he went from a DNP to a limited practice. So not a lot of movement here. And look, looking at this Bears stuff, it's like that team has been so lifeless since they canned Eberflus. It feels like it doesn't even really matter who the players are. I will say that under the radar here, Caleb Williams is playing some pretty good football lately. And there are some things on the team that I like. And I don't think they're just going to lay down and hand us the game. But you look at this stuff and you're like, man, does it even really matter? The Bears are the Bears. And I get it. But I don't want to carry that attitude into the game. And I mean, at the end of the day, I want to win the game, and we got to take them. We got to take them as an opponent, right? We can't take them as a pile of tackling dummies. So I'm going to say that, yeah, this is significant. The things that they're potentially missing for this game, that matters. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. That's your report. Probably no Ken Walker. Looks like everybody else is going to at least be available. Everyone, have a good night. Again, posted very late. Doubt very many people will see this, but, sometimes I just want to go do other things too.